as I was saying, I got pounded by a couple of waves, and I was reminded in those moments about going with water or trying to fight against it, and trying to teach Tennyson about going under the wave, like diving under the wave, as opposed to taking it head on. And that when you dive under the wave, you feel the flow of the magnificent force over your head, and it feels like kind of like a massage. But if you kind of try to fight the wave head on, it's not such a pleasant experience. But I feel like it connects to this stage 2 of manifestation, because I talked the first session about this idea of planting seeds and being in a place in order to even see the seeds that can be planted. And I think that when we think about like what we actualize into the world and the things that we are putting in the world, we think about a lot of effort, and that effort is maybe connected to that idea of meeting the wave head on. But what is showing more clearly to me is that it's often what I do that gets in the way of manifestation that prevents. So letting ourselves be in a state of flow, because we feel the greater divine creative nature of humans. Humans are creative. We have done a lot of creative things. We've also done destructive things, but that is also in a form of creativity. But yeah, like I've said before, you only have to, give a 6-year-old some blocks and you see we are making apes. That's what Elizabeth Gilbert calls us. And I do really believe that we're all touched by this manifestation creativity thing, and that it's often our own thoughts and limiting beliefs that gets in the way for us to be the vessel. So let's get into a place where we can flow, clear some of the blockages to be more of the vessel. Let's sit tall and assume the posture of a yogi. Let your eyes close. Let your collarbones be wide, shoulder blades on the back. Let your head float, your tailbone be weighted. Let your pubic bone be weighted too, so it kind of feels like maybe you have a solid gold-plated pube. You could walk through life like that, and really be like, meeting anybody and be like, listen, I got a solid gold-plated pube, so I'm worth a lot of money. But what I mean by that is like, let the kind of weight of the front of your pelvis find some connection with the earth, so that you can, from that weight in the front, really grow long from each side of the body. So the front body, the side body, the back body. And then let's observe the breath. Is the breath shallow today? Is it a little ragged? This is probably the first time today you've checked in with your breath. And perhaps the first time you've created that space from the mind, from the planning, from the to-dos, from the cleaning up of the water spill, from the agenda. And let's luxuriate for just a moment in the space in between. So the big sky space. The space where you're not on a treadmill. I'm looking for more of these spaces in my daily life. And noticing that when I have a moment between thoughts, or where there's a kind of break in the clouds, or it's a moment of nothingness, there is an anxiety that comes with, like, I should be doing something. Pick up my phone, text somebody, fill the void, because nothingness is scary to us on a foundational level. But as we grow more awake, we find refuge in the in-between. And it's here that the seeds that we have planted can really find space to grow and grow and go. And with that investigation of the space in between, let's find the space before the inhale and lengthen that time. And that at the top of the inhale, find the space where you are full of breath, and make that space a little longer. And if thoughts come up, just noticing, trying to label them thinking, and then let them float away with unconditional friendliness towards the self. We have to start with friendliness towards the self, or there will never be love towards anyone else, true love or friendliness towards other people. So cultivating this deep, unconditional friendliness towards the self. And carving out space for the in-between, for that's when we feel the glow of the essence of who we are, beyond labels and ego, identity, titles, awards, accolades, family lineage, relationships. We are a glowing presence in the life, and that is the goal, I think, for anyone who is wanting a more enjoyable experience on this plane. More rounds of inhale, exhale, really investigating the space in between and wholeheartedly sitting there a little longer than you usually do. softly opening the eyes, coming back into this realm. Nice. Okay, let's start by interlacing the hands, pressing the palms out towards in front of you, letting the head drop a little bit, and then bringing that whole hand package up to the sky, opening the chest, gazing up towards the heavens a little bit, and then releasing the hands out to the side, letting the left hand come to the earth, and we'll lean over to the side. If you can, if you have enough opening there, you can lower the left elbow, but I find that even just leaning over to one side while you keep your shoulder blade onto your back. And then coming back up into the center space and over to the other side. Breathe into those inner ribs. Let the shoulder blades kind of present the heart on a platter. Here's my heart on a platter. I'm not scared. Maybe gazing up a little bit, gazing down. Coming back into the center, interlace the hands behind the lower back and pressing the palms away from you as you gaze up and the heart comes slightly up. And then hugging the self, let's bring the right hand on top. If you can, grab your shoulder blades on the back, and then let's start with some unconditional, let's get even more than friendly. Let's get loving. You can bring your fingertips to give yourself a little bit of a massage. Feeling that warm glow, the mothering of the self. And reaching back out, spread your span. And then the left hand comes up over the top and hug yourself. Keep here for a second. I'm going to adjust an angle. Hug that self. Love that self. See if you can actually grab the shoulder blades a little bit. Okay, let that go. Reach out again, spread your span, raise your hands, twinkle it down, catch the song of freedom, ride your light, make a little wave. Let's get articulation into our fingertips towards this end. To the sweet of the night, reach out, twinkle it in. This is your song of freedom. That's the choreography for my song. Okay, let's actually move. If you're sitting on something, move it away. Let's get on the back for a moment. Feels like a nice, easy morning. So I'm gonna lay on your back. Fully release on your back right now. Yeah. And then notice for just a moment if there's any kind of spots that are having any habitual holding in the body. And try to release that, melt it down. Bring the knees in to the chest. And hug the knees. Rolling around, maybe doing some circles on the sacrum. So you're on your back and the knees are together doing little circles, and then reverse those circles. Oh feel like a little massage. You can go a little bit back and forth, opening up all the little connectors of all the joints of the sacrum. And now let's go into happy baby. Let's be some happy babies. Oh man, there's nothing better than a happy baby. And there's nothing worse than a crying baby on the plane. But I read something about the happy baby. So that's grabbing either the inside of your feet. I prefer the outside, and then having the knees kind of hug into the outer arms, and stamping the feet into the sky. But I read or someone said once that the reason why the crying baby on a plane is so disturbing is that we have this innate urge to soothe the baby. Like, we actually, even if we don't feel like we're child people, we want that baby to be in comfort. We want that baby to survive. So that's why it's so painful. Let's let the left foot go and lean and lengthen along the ground while you're still holding the right foot in a half happy baby. Stamping the foot into the sky so like you're standing on the sky. Opening up the left, really finding that deep stretch into the right. Opening the hips. This is where a lot of blockages from the manifestation flows happen. And then this may feel like end of the practice stuff, but we're gonna start with it. We're gonna twist over the body. So the right knee is coming over the left side of the body, just in a simple twist. And we'll extend the right hand along the ground. The shoulder blade is on the ground. Nice. Finding deep breaths into that twist. Bring the knee back into the chest. Give that a hug. Release that right leg on the ground and bring the left leg up into the chest. Finding that half happy baby on the left side as you extend and lengthen the right along the ground. Yes. Letting the pelvis go wide. And noticing if any tension has crept into your face or your shoulders, trying to hold this pose. And still working with the breath and lengthening the spaces between the inhale and the exhale. Hugging the knee into the chest. Let's cross over the body in a simple twist. The left knee coming over to the right side, and the left hand lengthening. Bringing that back into the chest. Let's stand both of the feet here. And then we're going to kind of come up in a curl, in like a little sit-up kind of thing. And then use the hands to walk all the way up. We're going to come into some abdominals in this morning time to get tapas into the body. Coming into this thing that as a child, when I did modern dance growing up, we would create a table with our legs, and then we would eat donuts and drink some coffee. I don't know why I would drink coffee as kids. Maybe it was tea. Still, it's caffeinated. And if you are able to release the arms from behind, so step 1 is behind the knees. Step 2, your arms are extended, and then if you want to go to step 3, extend the legs, and then come back down, feet to the ground, straighten up, that one more time. Knees come up. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and come back down. Chest up. Let's come into our hands and knees here. Hands and knees on the mat. I've got like a double thing happening, so I just want to make sure both of my screens. Hands and knees. Went to Jumbo's Clown Room in Los Angeles last night. It's a strip club, so I got some new moves. But there was a lot of this. I was like, there's some real Pilates stuff happening. Okay, hands and knees. Our hands are pressing into the ground. All 5 finger pads are pressing on each side. We'll just go into a little bit of cat-cow, really opening up the spine. Again, finding those places where stuck energy is lingering. And then in an intuitive way, kind of moving the head and the tail in ways that you know that you need to open. You can even get a little bit wilder with it, which by bending the elbows, snaking along the ground. And then pressing into your first downward dog of the day. In this downward dog, pedal out the feet, left and right. Letting each foot really lengthen along the ground. Oh man, guys, I'm sorry. It's hard to have 2 screens. In new houses. And so I have to prioritize somebody. Oh, I'm there. Okay. Sorry, you're still in downward dog. And I am just come into plank now. And lower down all the way to the ground. Come up into a Bhujangasana. That is a gentle arch up, pressing the toenails down into the earth, shoulder blades back. And then come back into the knees. We'll do that whole series again with me actually being here. Downward facing dog. Left heel towards the mat. Right heel towards the mat. Engage the stomach into the spine here as you come towards a plank. And hold this plank for just a moment, really bringing the navel to the spine, the shoulder blades on the back, and lower all the way down to the ground. Coming into a gentle baby cobra. Toenails are pressing into the ground. Fingertips and palms are pressing into the earth and pressing towards the chest. And then press back into a child's pose. Release the head into the ground. Coming into the hands and knees again, the left hand up into the sky, gazing up, threading the needle in between the arm and the knee of the right side, and then coming into this twist, breathing into this twist. If you can, bringing the right fingertips to a tent it up, and reaching up to the sky and over to the back. And then coming back down, pressing into the hands and knees, and now the right hand comes up into the sky, reaches under, coming onto the right temple, pressing into this deep twist. Feels pretty yummy. No pressure, but if you'd like to bring that left hand into the inner thigh. Finding the breath even in this constricted space. Pressing back into the ground. Tuck the toes, down to facing dog. Shoulder blades on the back. Right foot reaches up to the sky. Open up the hips. Bring the right heel towards the right buttock. Knee towards the sky. And then square off the foot. So you're gazing forward and your toes are facing down, your hips are level, bringing the knee into the nose and then kicking it back again. Bringing the knee into the left elbow and kicking it back. Bringing the knee into the right forearm. Bringing it back. Bringing the knee back into the nose, but then as it comes in, standing it into that long lunge. Bringing the back knee down, patting if you need to on that back leg. Soft as ghee. Anjane Asana. I love that it means soft as ghee. It's like butter. Letting the hands come to the knees, to the knee. Back toes could be tucked under or released, whatever feels better for you. And then bringing the arms up into this glorious expression of this pose. Let's smile here. Let the outward expression change the inward expression as we bring the arms back down to either side of the foot, tuck the back toes, and press back into down facing dog. Nice. Left leg lifts up. Open up the hips. Oh, glorious. And bring the heel to the buttock, the knee up. Nice. Really opening that side, and then squaring off the hips. The toes are facing down. The back left foot is pressing out into the behind you, into the behind. Bringing the knee into a kiss and stamping back, bringing it to the left, right above the elbow, stamping back, bringing it to the right, yes, stamping back, bringing it into the center, and stepping through to that low lunge. Finding that space in the hips, opening up the hips, and being with the breath. Bringing the hands to the knees, to the knee. Sucking the feet, the left foot and the right foot in that diagonal together. So you really create that foundation. Arms come up. Gaze up to the sky. Yes, let someone take a photo of you in this moment. I'm a yogi. Arms up. Find that smile. And tucking the back toe. Stepping back. Downward facing dog, coming into the vinyasa. So plank. Let's bend the elbows all the way to the ground and go to baby cobra. And then tuck the toes again and press back into plank. Downward facing dog. Downward chasing dog. Let's do a left and a right side plank. So first let's bring the heels to the left. Nice. And then to the right. Opens up the whole side. And let's bring the heels to the left, and we're going to stack the feet on top of each other. So the arm comes underneath the shoulder, the left arm. We're going to stack the feet, coming into a side plank. A long line from your head to your feet. Nice. Coming back into your plank, and feet come over to the right. On the side of your foot, you're stacking one foot at a time, pressing into the earth, shoulder blades away from the neck. Long line from the feet to the head. Press back, downward facing dog. Just find 5 breaths here. Where you're just watching the breath. Cleaning out the vessel to be a receptor for the divine creativity that comes from a place that is outside yourself. And then just being the vessel. Bending the knees a little bit, looking towards the hands. Step towards the feet, coming into a forward fold. Engage the lower belly, reverse swan dive, the arms up, all the way up towards standing, bringing the hands together, bringing the hands in a prayer to the heart, closing the eyes for a moment, and finding an intention for yourself why you're here on this mat today. First, maybe, let's start with thanking ourselves for being here, for coming here. You are exactly where you need to be. This is the practice that is going to make you just a more glowing, polished up light for all those around you. So thanking yourself for the energy it took to set up the device, set up the mat, carve out the time. Yes, this is you winning already. And then once you've done that, articulating an intention for this more heated little section before our cool down. So what would you like to give your intention for? Some options are, to release the thought pattern of the mind, to feel good in the body, to connect with the breath, to connect with the heart, to be here now, to create loving awareness. And let's just do a small dedication to someone outside of ourselves. Okay, inhale, reach the hands up, Gaze up to the sky, exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to the ground, release the head, shake the head out, no, shake it out, yes. Press into the ground, gaze up, forward, hands to the ground, jump back into plank. Lower down, chaturanga, halfway, coming into upward facing dog, or if that feels too much today, just back into that baby cobra we did before. Pressing back into downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up to the sky, comes forward into a crescent lunge, pressing the feet into the ground. We raise up. Raising up into crescent lunge. The feet are firmly planting into the ground. The heel of the right leg is stretching back. The right leg is straight. Arching up slightly to the sky. And let's bring the arms down towards the hips. Gazing forward on the ground. Still in that front leg. Guiding it towards 90. And then we're going to launch forward into warrior three. So this is like an airplane pose. Arms can be alongside the body. Flex the back foot. Toes are facing down. Hips are squared. Bring the arms down to the earth. Bring the knee in towards the other knee. And then let's press it up into a standing split as much as possible. And bend both knees again. Let the knee come behind the other knee in a little kiss. And then stretch it up into the sky. Extend the foot. Bend both knees. The knees kiss. And stretch it back up. Bring that back leg all the way back down into that lower lunge. Pressing into the ground. Coming back into crescent pose. We're here in the crescent. Take a couple breaths, shoulders away from the ears. Opening out into warrior two. Warrior two, your left leg is in that 90 still. Your right leg is straight, but your heel of your right foot is pressing into the ground and the side of your right foot. Your arch is lifted. And you gaze over that middle finger like a warrior. Reverse the warrior. Left hand comes up to the sky. Paints the ceiling. Paint it. And coming into side angle pose. I'm going to shorten my stance here a little bit. But coming into side angle pose, your left arm comes to the middle of the thigh. Right comes over your head. Extension, so you feel that right fingertip to right foot diagonal line. Reversing warrior again. So we'll come into a little flow here. So 3 times, reverse warrior, side angle. Exhale on the side angle. Inhale on the reverse warrior. This is 1. Don't lose the front bend on the knee. 2. 3. Oh yes, just painting the arms in your own creative expression, bringing both arms back down to the earth into an easy lunge, stepping back, plank pose, chaturanga, or lower all the way down, upward facing dog, or baby cobra, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here, yes. Find those breaths, fully expand into the breath, nice. Look towards the hands, jump, step, walk, or float. The hands, the feet to the hands. Forward fold, press into the earth. Engage around the spine with abdominals. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Reach the arms up. Prayer into the heart. Take a breath before we do the other side. Reconnecting to your intention. Arms separate, reaching up into a slight back bend as you reach your arms up. Float down in a swan dive. Release the head out. Shake it out. No. Shake it out. Yes. Gaze forward. Bring your heart into your gaze. As you shake this little pose is a really. You can bring it to your hands, to your shins as one option. If it feels a little bit too much to bring it to the ground. Release the head down. Bend the knees. Jump back into plank. Jumping back into plank. Lowering down into chaturanga or all the way down into cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot comes up into the air. Bringing it through into a lunge. We got that lunge here. We're going to come into crescent. Pressing the ground with the feet. Bringing the arms up. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Coming into this crescent pose. Leaning forward, bringing the whole upward body package into a diagonal off of the foot as we bring the arms alongside the hips. Arms come back up, coming into that crescent. Once again, leaning forward. As we try to bring that bend of the knee a little further than we think we should. Towards 90, it takes some work. And then coming into that warrior 3, airplane balance. Left leg is flexed. The toes are towards the ground. Arms come along the ears, if you like, for extra challenge. But I'm going to keep them on the hips. And let's bring the arms down to the ground. Bend both knees. Let's do that kissing knee action. So both knees bend in this kind of bow thing. And then extend the left leg up as much as you can towards the sky to the standing split. And then bend both knees with an exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One last time. Bend it in. And standing split. Step back into that lunge. Did something really cool here. Man, I just had it. Okay, coming into this lunge. Oh yeah. And coming into crescent pose, opening up into warrior 2. Oh yes, we don't have the AC on here, and it's when it's on the mountain. I'm feeling some heat, but it's good. It's like heated yoga. Pressing the feet into the ground, shoulder blades away from the neck, arms long, gaze is over the fingertips. Reverse the warrior, the right hand platters up, paints the sky as we lean back, open the right side body, and then coming over into a side angle, elbow, right elbow, comes right above the knee, arm comes above the ear, gaze underneath the elbow to the sky. High sky. And then reverse the warrior again. Let's exhale on this, on the warrior on this side. Exhale here, and then inhale. Exhale. 3. Side angle. 2. Really finding the dance between these two poses. And 1. Cartwheeling the hands back down to the ground, stepping back into plank, lowering knees, chest, and chin on the ground, and then snaking into baby cobra, pressing back, child's pose. Take a breath here. Pressing into the ground, tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. Looking into the hands, bend the knees, step, jump, walk, float. Hands to the feet, release the head. Let the hair grow long and dark and wet into the lake below you. Engage around the spine. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Oh, this plant's really loving me today. Giving it a lot of kisses. And hands to the heart. Take a big step out to the side. Long prasarita stance. And let's just bring the body halfway down so that arms come directly underneath the shoulders, and you're really finding that length from the pelvis to the head, creating more length here. Stomach is supporting the spine again from all sides. Release the head down. Shake the head out, no. Shake it out, yes. And then if you can, bring the arms in between the feet so the head comes further down towards the ground. Bringing the arms back in between, underneath the shoulder, bending the left leg, coming into Skandasana. The right foot comes, the toes, the fingers of the foot come towards the sky, and you're aiming to come back as much as you can onto your heel. And then if that feels okay to you, one more step is to bring the left arm up into this kind of like beautiful ninja warrior pose. Walking all the way over to the other side. The right foot bends, left toes come up. And if you'd like to take the next step, bring the right arm up and over. So it feels good to bring the shoulder to the knee and the left arm up. Let's go back over to the other side. Find the expression of this pose for you. Flowing here, back and forth. Like water. Really taking advantage of the fact that you're doing this practice at home. You don't have to be self-conscious about anyone watching you and how your expression could live in the world. And then being able to carry that feeling of freedom into the greater world, into your expression of manifestation. couple more times back and forth. I like to really imagine myself a fighting ninja here. Like I actually have martial arts skills. Oh, yes. Nice. And coming back into Rizo, which is that kind of easy triangle pose. And speaking of triangle pose, let's do actual triangle pose. So we're gonna face the hips to the right. Find that warrior two. So over the right fingertips. And then straighten that front leg. And we're gonna bring the hips back towards the back of the mat. Reach over the right toes with the right finger. And then once you can't reach any further, bringing that and twisting it so your hands are on your shin or on the ground or on a block. And then bringing both arms into a lunge over that right foot. And then we'll come into pyramid pose. Get all the triangles. So the left foot is trying to find the ground here in a pyramid shape. It's on a 3/4, the back foot. And the right foot is pressing into the ground. We're lifting above the kneecap as opposed to thinking of like locking back the knee, but thinking of coming to straight as much as possible, but really thinking about toning above the kneecap. And releasing the head along the knee. Coming back into a lunge, stepping back into a vinyasa, all the way down or halfway. Backward, downward dog. And bringing the left foot between the feet, hands, bring the foot between the feet. Feeling the heat right now here. I don't usually sweat, I'm more of a glower. Keeping that laugh going. Keeping that laugh going, guys. Let's come into that triangle again. So coming into warrior two on the left hand side. Bending the left foot into a 90-degree, and then straightening it, bringing the hips back, toning above the knee. Hips back, reach over that foot, really reach over the foot, and then bring the hands in a long line from each other, perpendicular to the mat. And then this pose, forever I've been taught, is like, you're really aiming for it to feel like you're in between two panes of glass. So trying as much to be right on, stacked on top of yourself as possible. And both hands come down into a lunge. We'll come back into pyramid pose so that right foot is on the angle, but aiming for the heel to be grounded. Engage above the kneecap of the left leg. Oh. Yeah, find that stretch. Coming back into a lunge. Stepping back, our final vinyasa. Oh yes, we did it. Let's just go all the way down. Yes, let's not even do vinyasa. Oh, just let the head relax onto one side, or the chin if that's better.
bring the thighs together, the feet together, shoulder blades on the back. We're gonna arch up, interlace the fingertips behind the buttocks, press back, gaze forward, nice. Bring that hand package up off of the butt, a little bit higher, and release down. Just pick whichever side you want to rest on. Let's do it one more time though. Pressing back, arms come along the hips. Let's not interlace this time. And then let's bring the feet together and then lift it. So you're gonna lift everything and then they can separate a little bit, but you're kind of keeping that thigh magnetism happening. I've got some thigh magnetism after that script club. Coming up off of really you just like are wanting to hover off of your ribs and your pelvis and release. Let's do it one last time. Bring the feet together, hands come to the nips. I mean like the thumbs around, just come to the ground. Pressing up, arms come above, in front of the head, releasing like a Superman, and legs come up, and let's swim, and swim, and swim, and do little swims, like your little diver Dan in the aquarium. Swim, 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 lift everything up, and release it down. Oh yes. Press back into child's pose. Oh, release your forehead into the earth. Release everything, all the thoughts about the self, and the earth, and just let it all go. Oh, really rest into that third eye. So in that forehead spot, really letting it ground down into the earth. And then coming up into seated, crossing the legs, coming actually to your butt, so then we can get to our back easily. And let's just release like a plopasana. Coming into Shavasana. This pose is not called shove in your asana, like Nick thought of us, my partner. Shove in your asana. It's Shavasana. So you're going to release all of your bones into the ground. Practice death for a little bit. Like my new hit song, Practice Death. Let your body melt. And I'm just going to call out body parts, and what I want you to do is really feel extreme effortless in those parts. So along with a point of light, and the light is healing, cooling, relieving, energizing, but in like a maintainable way, not like a caffeine jittery way. So we'll bring a point of light into our big toe of our right foot, our big toe of our left foot. Effortless. Your second toe of your left foot, your third toe, point of light, effortless. Your fourth toe, point of light, effortless. Your pinky toe on your left foot. Your second toe on your right foot. Third toe, point of light. Fourth toe, fifth toe, effortless. Into your ankle bone, a big point of light, easing, breathing. Into your shin of your left, your shin of your right. Get your ankle on your right if you haven't already done that. Point of light. both knees. Points of light on both knees. Easy. No effort. Deep relaxation into the right thigh, the belly of the thigh. A whole of relief. Left thigh, point of light, belly of the thigh. Effortless around the pubic bone, point of light, the tailbone. Letting the point of light around the tailbone glow slightly red to honor our root chakra, which holds safety. You are safe. You are safe. You are housed. You are fed. You are watered. Bringing it up into the lower abdomen, glows orange. Finding the seeds of the creativity, creative urges, which are also connected to the sexual organs, because creativity is in our bones, because creating life is in our DNA. You are a maker, glowing orange, effortless, moving up. Into our upper stomach. Point of light. In the solar plexus, right below the sternum, it's a yellow light. Feeling the individual self, and how even though we are everyone, we are also our individual stamp, and we have our own viewpoint to share, our voice. Bringing it up into the heart, glowing slightly green now. Breath is effortless. The green light, like the green of the earth, the green of the heart, the love, feeling the love. Into the throat, glowing blue, clear communication, effortless, clear communication, no anxiety about speaking truths with kindness, but not speaking unless it improves silence. And point of light in the third eye, intuitively understanding that violet light that guides us, hearing that true voice instead of the wandering tyrant of the mind, following the intuition. Then bringing it to the top of the skull. The connection with the divine, the ultraviolet light. And as we feel the portal opening to the divine, it connects all the lights in our body as we release the bones into the earth, the muscles, the skin. Wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, stretching the arms over the head, stretching the feet long like you do in a bed stretch, rolling over to one side, whatever side's comfortable, into a fetal position, finding that fetal position for a moment, the safety of this place. as you press your hands into the earth to bring your body up into a final position of gratitude, whether that's legs folded under you into a crisscross applesauce or into a hero's pose, keeping the eyes closed, thumbs rest on the heart, bowing the head, finding gratitude for the place of privilege that we have to be able to practice yoga. I am so grateful that you carve out time for me and that you're part of my Patreon family. It's so meaningful.